Most of us treat human connection like weather. We treat it as an unpredictable spark. We walk into a room, meet someone new, and assume the chemistry will either randomly hit or completely miss. When that connection breaks down, when a conversation turns into an argument or a colleague becomes impossible to deal with, we usually throw our hands up. Without a system to diagnose the problem, we simply talk past each other, guessing at what went wrong. Suppose we stop treating relationships like a roll of the dice. Suppose human interaction actually operates on a rigid structural framework. This animated diagram illustrates that exact framework. It consists of three specific components: affinity, reality, and two-way communication. By mapping out the inner logic of this geometry, we can measure and repair relationships on purpose, relying on predictable mechanics rather than luck. To understand how any closed-loop system operates, you have to define the individual parts that make it run. Look at the top point. This is affinity, measuring emotional distance from deep affection to repulsion. Bottom right is reality, shared agreement, or the basic facts both parties accept. Finally, bottom left is two-way communication, requiring an active, reciprocal exchange of ideas. The mechanism here is precise. True understanding does not live in any single one of these points. Understanding is the specific enclosed area created when these three elements connect. Because these 3 points form a closed loop, the geometry enforces a strict rule. It is mathematically impossible to alter one point without instantly affecting the other two. Watch this diagram when two people genuinely exchange ideas. As communication expands, they uncover more common ground. That shared reality forces the third point to react. Mutual agreement drives up affinity, and the entire structure scales up symmetrically. You can see the exact same mechanics in reverse. Think about a relationship where someone suddenly stops talking. As the communication drops, the shared reality shrinks with it. Affinity plummets, and the entire system collapses inward. Or consider what happens when you try to force a conclusion on someone who vehemently disagrees with you. You push a reality they reject. To execute that, your communication degrades into a lecture, and the affinity between you evaporates immediately. Understanding expands and contracts based entirely on how you balance those three forces. This means human connection requires active operation and maintenance. The geometry offers a specific advantage. You don't have to address a total breakdown in a relationship all at once. If one point is completely blocked, for instance, if there is zero affinity between two people, the system remains functional through the other two nodes. You can work around the blockage by simply establishing an objective exchange of information, or by finding one small fact that both parties agree is true. Because the triangle is a closed loop, adding energy to those accessible nodes creates a mechanical necessity. Increasing the volume of communication and reality exerts a geometric pull on that blocked affinity node, forcing it to rise. We don't have to wait for the stars to align to relate to one another. We can use this structural logic to consciously build, expand, and repair our connections from the ground up.